It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're watching or listening. Hope you're having a good day. Today's show is being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant, located on beautiful St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. We'll give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simon's to get a decent Italian meal. You know what I'm talking about? Today's show is also being brought to us in part by our app. You want a free app? You want to watch this show? You want to listen to this show for nothing? Hey, check it out. Well, not that you're not doing that for now, right now, but how about in the convenience of your car or on the treadmill? If you're on that treadmill, run a couple extra miles for me, will you? I could use the exercise. But anyway, download the app. It's free. Just go to Fight, that's F-I-T-E, fight.tv/Billy C. Or make life easy, go check out the new banner that we have. We have a couple of banners for the app, but there's a new one up on BillyCBoxing.com. Check it out. And click it and download it today. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by our next Billy C Boxing event, which is taking place August 25th and 26th at the beautiful Sea Palms Resort in St. Simon's Island, Georgia. Come on down. Hang out with Sal and myself, former world champions Mike Weaver, Bobby Ches, Marlon Starling, renowned trainer out of Tampa, Sherman Henson. Hang out with us. We'll get a meet and greet. You get to hang out with those guys, get their autograph, whatever, have some food. Then we're going to have a little golf tournament, and we're going to all truck over to Sal's and invade the restaurant, throw all his regular customers out of there. And we're going to all end with watching what we call the joke of a fight. Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. Come spend it with us so we can critique it together. Visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the Sea Palms banner and call them and get your special rates now. They have a whole package for the thing. And finally, today's show is also being brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold, and you can literally get a copy of it right now by visiting Barnes & Noble or Amazon.com. Find out why I'm so adamant about teaching you about this guy. What a story, Tom Molyneux. You can also get a signed copy. Just visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the book. Trust me, you can't miss it. Today, we talked about Deontay Wilder. It should have been announced already. I don't know what stumbling blocks it is. I just hope that this guy doesn't, or his team doesn't pull a fast one on us and, back out of the fight with Luis Ortiz. It looked like Deontay Wilder was going to fight Luis Ortiz at the end of this year. We also know that Anthony Joshua most likely will also be fighting at the end of the year with a rematch with Vladimir Klitschko, assuming that both of these guys win, which I personally don't think Deontay Wilder is going to beat Luis Ortiz. And you never know. Klitschko, getting a rematch with Anthony Joshua, maybe the outcome is different. But should both Deontay Wilder and AJ win their respective fights later this year, will they meet in 2018? This is the heavyweight fight that we all want to see. Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. Now, personally, my question would be, who do you think would win? I think, no doubt, Anthony Joshua will win because I think he's 100% more talented than Deontay Wilder. And quite frankly, Deontay Wilder hasn't even fought a real opponent. But should he get by Luis Ortiz, it's going to change the perception of Deontay Wilder big time. And depending upon the game plan that he has and employs with Mark Breland as his trainer, you never know. So my question today is, assuming Deontay Wilder gets by Luis Ortiz, which I don't think he will, but let's say he does, and assuming AJ gets by Klitschko the second time, which I do think he will, and AJ and Wilder meet each other, who wins the fight? Joining me right now from beautiful St. Simon's Island is my man, Sal Rocky Cenicola. Who wins? Who wins?
Who wins? The promoter. The promoter. He wins. He always wins. He's undefeated.
That's right. That's a good answer. The survey says. Ding, 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 ding. He's right. He's right. But no, you're right. The promoter always wins, Sal. But honestly, if these two guys fight, who do you like?
Well, I love Anthony Joshua for a lot of the same reasons that you do. But I'll tell you what, Bill, it's not a layup for Anthony Joshua. No matter what we think about Deontay Wilder, with his camp and everything else, and counting his horn, and maybe he's never had to flex his muscle on that upper level like that. I'm sure he believes in what he professes, and I'm sure that he's going to rise to the occasion to perform on a level that maybe we have never seen him do before. And, I always say styles makes fight. Styles make fight. And with that being said, they have contrasting styles, and Wilder is a lot bigger. So I don't think, no, he's not a lot bigger.
He's not bigger. He's not bigger.
He's the same size. But what I mean, his style of punching and leading, I didn't mean that. What am I talking about? He might be able to, get that jab in there. He might be able to move his head. Who knows? I just can't say it's going to be a layup for Anthony Joshua.
Listen,
I don't think it's going to be.
Listen, have a sip of coffee because you're not thinking clearly.
Okay. I got some smelling salts from the '80s. I haven't even broken those capsules out.
Yeah, and you're doing banned substances to help you lose weight too. But listen,
I'm not.
Well, you did back in the day when they weren't banned. You told us the story. Do we have to go to the videotape with you?
Yeah, what banned substance?
That the stuff you said yesterday that you took that Bobby Ches shoved down your throat.
Oh no, that was Lasix. I mean, it was a water pill. It's a diuretic.
It's banned. You're not allowed to have it today. But
you're not allowed to have it.
No. That's a VADA banned substance. Come on, Sal. Fight within the rules, will you? Come on. And by the way, the weigh-ins are the day before now. But anyway, when you look at Deontay Wilder,
go ahead.
He's a one-dimensional fighter, in my opinion. Now, we talked about this the other day. He did look good against Berman Stavern. He did employ the jab, and he had a good game plan and was patient in that fight. But every other fight, he goes in there and, just relies on his asset, and his asset is punching power. But the problem, and Deontay Wilder is an athletic guy. He's in shape all the time. He's a big guy. But his frame, he's more suited, to me, when I look at Deontay Wilder, I see a basketball player. I see a frame that's more suited for the NBA.
Defensive end.
Well, and you know what? Even football, his girth is just not big enough. He's a lot of muscle. He's tall, but he's lanky. He's a lanky guy, and he doesn't weigh that much for a 6'7" guy. I mean, the truth of the matter is you see body types like that more in basketball, playing basketball, but nonetheless, I would assume that he would fight cautiously against Anthony Joshua. But Anthony Joshua is such the full package. I mean, this guy is getting better and better. He's bigger in terms of girth, weighs more. He's probably would outweigh Deontay Wilder fight night at least 30 pounds. I would think, at least 25 anyway. But, he's got a jab. His defense is a little more solid. And he, too, has punching power. I don't see it being competitive, even if Deontay Wilder gets by Luis Ortiz, which I don't think he will, Sal. Honestly, we'll probably be talking. Yeah, well, honestly, we'll be
got
talking.
it on tape, Bill.
Well, honestly, we'll be talking about the fight, a possible fight between AJ and Luis Ortiz. But if Deontay Wilder knocks out Ortiz, because that's the only way he's going to beat him, I think he does not beat Anthony Joshua. The best heavyweight on the planet right now, in my opinion, is Anthony Joshua.
Well, you've said it over and over again, and I don't disagree with you. But like I said, I think their styles are going to be made for each other, and I think we're going to have just a few good rounds of some good exchanges. I don't think it'll go past 8 rounds. So I would look forward to that fight. I really will, and that's it. But we're going to see Anthony Joshua in with Klitschko again, and that's going to be a good test for him again to see if he can follow up and repeat what he did the first time, and or if Klitschko was able to learn and not put himself in that position and still be effective with his offense.
You know Repeat and Little Petey and Petey and Big Petey and Little Petey, and you know all those Peteys?
I do. Is that who's creeping in here?
No. But listen. I got an update for you. I know you're.
Oh yeah. You got an update.
Yeah, I know you're on the edge of your seat because I know you can't wait. No, you are because you're trying to get more coffee. But I know that you are on the edge of your seat, and you're the guy, the only boxing guy that wants to see Floyd Mayweather against Conor McGregor. But I got an update for you. How about this? And this is thanks to our street reporter, Jeremy C. Really impressing the hell out of me lately with his knowledge, his plethora of knowledge. Jeremy C. with a plethora of knowledge about boxing and specifically Conor McGregor. He hooked me up with some news that Conor McGregor yesterday was sparring with Paulie Malignaggi.
What?
Paulie Malignaggi, I'm curious to know. Now, I was trying to explain to Jeremy that Paulie Malignaggi is not going to say anything negative because he's part of the Showtime team, and the Showtime team is trying to get. But sparring with Paulie Malignaggi, I would love to see footage of it to see how he did. Not that Paulie Malignaggi is anything close to being Floyd Mayweather, but at least the guy can move.
Frame size.
Not even, but at least he can move. Paul, he can't hit. He certainly isn't going to hurt McGregor. He can't hurt a fly, but he definitely can move. And I would be curious to see that sparring match. What's your quick thoughts?
My quick thoughts is that Tony Malignaggi had to dial it down a few notches, and just to have McGregor save face and to not be totally picked apart and outboxed by a lightweight. I'm teasing. But, the bottom line is, I would like to see the footage for that one. Because I saw footage, like I said, a couple weeks ago with McGregor sparring an unknown guy who tried to, he looked more like a Floyd Mayweather with his body size and his style that he was trying to emulate. But, and this guy just tattooed McGregor. I mean, his head would go boom, boom, boom. It looked like one of those fictional fight movies or something. It looked like, hey, Ruggy, how you doing? Bam, bam. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I said, this guy really is going to go in the ring against Floyd Mayweather. And
the thing is that Conor is going to take a couple of shots. He feels that Floyd is not going to be able to hurt him, and he's banking on the fact that he's going to muscle through and connect with a haymaker. But hold that thought. We're going to take a short break. Yeah, hold on. We're going to finish that thought in 1 second. Well, 2 minutes.
Billy C will be right back.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Make sure you join us on August 25th and 26th for our next Billy C. get-together down on beautiful St. Simon's Island in Georgia at the Sea Palms Resort. We will be joined, Sal and I will be joined by former world champions Marlon Starling and Mike Weaver and Bobby Ches. Also, renowned trainer out of Tampa, Sherman Henson, is actually going to be working Sal. I can't wait to see this. Sal's going to be hitting the mitts, and we're not letting him try to make another comeback or nothing like that, but Sherman's going to be working Sal. You guys will get to watch that. You'll get to have a meet and greet. We'll have some food there. Then we'll probably truck over and invade Sal's restaurant. And we have a golf outing during the day on Saturday. And Saturday night we'll be watching McGregor, Mayweather. And hopefully they'll have some entertaining real fights on the undercard. Which, incidentally, Sal, haven't heard nothing about the undercard yet. You know, I mean, here's a fight.
Have an undercard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, you haven't heard anything about the undercard. And, you heard some rumors about who was going to be on it, but nothing's been official. And, here we are. I mean, realistically, we're a month away, and we haven't even heard anything about the undercard yet. That seems strange to me.
Maybe Paulie Malignaggi's going to be there.
Yeah, maybe Paulie. Maybe Paulie's going to dress up as Mayweather and let McGregor. But before we went to break, we all said McGregor's only shot is to charge him and hopefully land a shot. But other fighters have tried. This is my whole point when I try to explain this rationally to people. Mayweather's had 49 other opponents that have all tried, or actually 47 because he fought two of them twice. 47 other opponents that all tried to do that. And none of them have been able to. Now, granted, he's over 40. He's 40 years old. He's definitely slowed down. He's not the same Mayweather he was a decade ago. But the truth of the matter is Conor McGregor never boxed in his life. Does he really think he's going to hit Mayweather? I don't think so.
And that's what's unique about this. And I said this, and I don't want to give this fight too much credibility, but that's what's unique about this contrast in styles and fights and whatever you want to do. The two worlds of boxing and MMA collide. And that's exactly the only chance that McGregor is going to have if he has a collision course in that ring with Floyd Mayweather. And like I said, he's going to have to just run, not walk, run across that ring and basically try to go for a 30-second knockout by just keeping Mayweather isolated in one corner or on the ropes, throw him there, use his hands, not in an MMA fashion, but almost wrestling where you can hook with your open gloves, reach out to handle your opponent anyway. But the bottom line is we don't know. That's his only style, his only way of really penetrating actually Floyd's defense. If he could do that, and he could just start banging away on the arms, the shoulders, relentlessly, and lay it all out in that first minute, he might connect with one of those shots. But that's the only chance, the only way I see that he can even possibly have any kind of chance to connect a punch with Floyd Mayweather to hurt him. And that's it. Because other than that, Floyd is a superior boxer, a superior ring general, and he's not even going to be able to lay that glove unless he does the old bull-style charge and throw him in there, be rough, and then just try to get him out as soon as possible.
Well, like I keep saying, Wilder, I personally don't think that he's going to get past Luis Ortiz. I think Luis Ortiz, the funny thing is I called a fight with Luis Ortiz, I think maybe two of them, with LDL TV down in Florida when he first came over to the U.S., and, he looked good then. He is a very hot and cold fighter. If you're watching or listening on the stream right now, remember we refer to comments made mostly in the BillyCBoxing.com chat room. We do communicate with you. I try as much as I can on the Facebook live stream, but the Facebook live stream is not the true video version of this show. And we were just talking about that. Dax is in the chat room right now. We were just talking about the fight. And the truth of the matter is Luis Ortiz is a hot and cold fighter. I got to see him ringside in probably one of his best performances against Bryant Jennings, and that showed me a lot. He had it looked like he had speed. I mean, sometimes it looks like he's very slow, but in that fight, he seemed to have speed. He had boxing ability. He had punching power. He was aggressive. He was very hard to hit. And Jennings, up to that point, although I always said that he was a small heavyweight, was a good fighter. I mean, this is a guy that was one of the best conditioned heavyweights I've seen. Has been in there with big guys. Has fared very well. Ortiz looked great. And then, he fights Malik Scott, looks terrible. He fights other fighters and looks terrible. I think that Luis Ortiz has been waiting and biding his time. He's had management issues. He's jumped from manager to promoter to back to a manager. He's signed with Al Heyman 3 months ago. The truth of the matter is this is the fight he's been longing for. 38 years old or not, this is the fight for him to shine. We better see the best Luis Ortiz when he steps in the ring with Deontay Wilder. Otherwise, his career will be over. He will become an opponent. And I hate to say that, Sal, because you and I are both pretty critical of people that all of a sudden refer to a fighter who goes from being a contender to an opponent overnight. But that's what's going to happen to Luis Ortiz. He's got to have his career-defining performance against Deontay Wilder, and then he proves two things. Number one, he's legitimately one of the top 3 heavyweights in the world, and number two, he proves that Deontay Wilder has been a made-up, fabricated fraud.
Well, those are 2 good points. And you know what? That's why the game of boxing will always be intriguing. Because, that's the only thing where you can put 2 men in a squared circle and let them put up or shut up and see who the better man is.
Right. Well, that's what we're going to see with Wilder and Ortiz, and hopefully they both bring their A game because, let's face it, if it's a fight that is controversial and, one or the other wins, and if it's Deontay Wilder, he's going to be pounding his chest like he destroyed the guy. I want to see a decisive victory, Sal. I want to see, not that I ever, I want to see a knockout. I'm not going to lie. I want to see a knockout. I want to see Deontay Wilder against Luis Ortiz and win and have Ortiz win by knockout. But nonetheless, Deontay Wilder, the guy who pounds his chest and says he's the best heavyweight in the world, should he step in with AJ right now? Forget about Ortiz. AJ beats him. Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight on the planet, in my opinion.
Well, and I think you are pretty much right. I mean, I would think that Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua will be the showdown of 2018. And we're going to have to wait. But I think that is going to be inevitable because take for granted that Joshua's going to get past Klitschko again and that Deontay Wilder is going to beat Ortiz. And that's going to make him make a showdown. We're going to see that probably by the mid of 2018.
Yeah, well, AJ is still the man. And speaking of Jay, how about OJ? OJ getting, winning his parole yesterday. Winning his parole will be out October 1st. I knew he was going to get out. Let me just say this. You know, many people, have their opinions of the first time he went on trial, and he was acquitted of the double murder.
Why?
Nicole Brown Simpson and the what was his name again? The other guy that Goldman. That's right. I'm sorry. No disrespect to the Goldman family, but many people disagree with that verdict. I watched it. OJ was a hero of mine. I don't want to comment on my opinion, but the truth of the matter is this parole hearing was for a crime that there is no way in shape or form that this man should have been sentenced to 33 years in jail trying to steal back his own stuff. I thought that was basically a total misrepresentation of fair law, and I was glad that they gave him his parole. He already served 9 years. He's 70 years old. I just hope that OJ comes out of jail, goes to Florida, and just does not do anything but just be with his family. If he gets back in the limelight, it's going to spell trouble for him, Sal.
Well, that's just it. He's got. I would think he's going to be happy enough just to have his freedom and live a low profile where he can. He'll still get the pat on the back. He'll still have a lot of fans, and it's just if he ever gets not intimidated, what can I say, challenged, or ever gets in a urinating contest with somebody over some legal matters in the past, that could egg him on and antagonize him. Then you might see another ugly scenario. But the bottom line is, OJ, he was one of my heroes. I used to love the way he jumped over briefcases with Hertz.
Yeah, he did real well. The way he ran through airports. Oh man, nobody's touching him. He never missed a flight. But I liked him in the. Well, first of all, I'm a big football fan.
I liked him in the airplanes. I liked him in a lot of the parodies, the funny movies.
I was just gonna say he was in the Naked Gun movies.
The Naked Gun. That's
But listen, all kidding aside, he was a great football player. He was a hero of mine. The juice is on the loose again, and the truth of the matter is OJ. I watched the hearing yesterday, and the truth of the matter is he didn't he ever watch Shawshank Redemption? I mean, you're supposed to go in front of a parole and tell him how regretful you were, and how you'll be a positive to society, etc., and he didn't. He basically said that he made a bad decision. He was in the wrong thing, but these guys were wrong. These guys did it. The other guys did it. The guys did it. The guys did it. The guys did it. And he didn't. He said he was a model prisoner and et cetera, but he still was kind of blaming the situation. He blamed himself for getting involved in a bad situation, but he didn't blame himself for the crime. And, when the experts were talking about it, and by the way, they expedited it. They made a decision in 30 minutes, which usually it takes 10 days. But, the experts were saying that he acted a little cocky. And the truth is, I agreed with that. I was a little nervous that he wasn't going to earn his parole. But I think that the state of Nevada just wants to get him out of the state. And I just hope that OJ, just finds a hole somewhere and finds a golf course somewhere and just plays it. He's making plenty of money. Now, if he does sign and do a a reality show or something else. All that money goes to the Goldman family because of their victory in the civil lawsuit. But they are not allowed to touch his home, which he owns, and his pension, which I found out is going to range between $15,000 and $20,000 a month. So with that kind of money, Sal, the guy we should never. They should put, because the media is going to hound him and he's going to love the attention. But they should put like a wall around, and he should never let anybody take his picture again and just live his life like he should have the first time. To be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad you're honest with me. Number one.
Would I lie to you, Sal?
Listen, OJ, for this last episode of why he was in prison and everything else, I still didn't get it. I mean, what I heard, because I didn't pay too much attention to it, because I paid too much attention to if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. That whole escapade. And the whole thing is when this latter thing came out, as I just understood from what I was able to gather, was that he was set up, or somebody almost baited him to go back into this place to steal back his own memorabilia, and that's when he was caught. So that's what I heard. Like I said, I don't know.
Hold that thought, because I want to talk about that. Hold that thought. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got OJ's new lawyer, Sal Cenicola, giving his defense. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And just before we went to break, I was going to say Dax Khan. He might be coming on a little bit later, too. My man, Sal Cenicola, was talking about, you were talking about OJ. Finish your thought.
Like I said, I was just being keeping my ears to the ground. I didn't follow anything about that OJ thing. with his memorabilia being stolen and stuff. But what I was able to listen or gather with my ears perceived or heard was that he kind of was set up or baited to go into this location that was not his property, where his valuables or his trophies or his items that he cherished and coveted happened to be hanging out, and he wanted to retrieve them. And I don't know how. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't listen to it too much. I heard he broke into someone's residence, stole or took back all of his items, and then that's where he got caught. But I heard that he was baited to get in there, and I heard that he was, I guess, antagonized for the whole thing. Now, that's what I'm saying. This is what I heard. I was not following it at all in any detail.
Well, this is exactly what he kept saying when he had his chance to talk. He's like, well, it wasn't my fault. It was this and that. And I kept saying, I was watching with a buddy of mine, and I kept saying, first of all, the parole board asked him, and he warned them. He says, this might be a long answer. And they said, okay, shoot. And he started, in the beginning, there was a Big Bang Theory, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be a long story, and the truth of the matter was that he went on and said that whole thing and kept saying he was baited, he was this, he was that. And I'm saying to myself, man, yeah. But the truth of the matter is all of that would have already have been discussed during the trial. And he had a conviction, so all of that he should have just left out, but nonetheless, it didn't hurt him. He's going to get out. Now, Dax is in the chat room, and he made a point that I hope he's wrong. But Dax said that, hey, they're just sick of seeing a guy like this. He wouldn't be surprised if somebody goes after him and takes matters in their own hands. And I hope that doesn't happen. O.J. Simpson was a huge star. The media loved him. And when he got all the attention for the double murder of Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, it captivated America. Anyway, I mean, I remember watching that.
I did. I was glued to the TV. It was the first time we saw up-to-date live courtroom TV and drama. That was a whole reality show right there.
They claimed
with the Dream Team, with this, with that.
They claimed that he actually was the first reality show.
Yeah.
It gave a lot of people the idea. I actually owned a Bronco that looked exactly like that one. We called it the OJ Mobile.
Wait, that was also Billy, I gotta say this.
Go ahead.
I gotta say this. That was also the first introduction to network TV of the slow speed chase, made now infamous. The slow speed car chase when the police were trying to follow him. And
well, how about all the people on the bridges with signs? Go OJ, go! Right, and then it reminded me of the scene. I shouldn't even say this.
I know,
because I'm going to get in trouble. I know it. I know I'm going to get in trouble. But it reminds me. Remember the scene in Blazing Saddles? When the sheriff, he's going, how am I going to get out of this? And all of a sudden he holds the gun to his head. He's going, all right, he uses some foul language, and he's going, oh man, he means it, and he's doing both voices himself, and they're like, okay, put down your guns, Well, it was the same thing, because if you remember, he's in the back seat. And his man is going, he's got a gun. He wants to kill himself. And they go, no, OJ, don't do it. And it's just, oh man, watching that, and then the whole trial, and if it don't fit, you must quit. I mean, think of the superstar players that were involved in it.
All these attorneys were made famous afterwards.
Well, look at where they all are today. Kardashian, his buddy, died. Johnny Cochran died. Marcia Clark, she basically had a show for a little while, a legal show, and now she's writing murder mysteries, right? I don't know what happened to Chris Darden. I don't know what happened to him.
Chris Darden? What happened to Chris Darden?
I don't know what happened to him. I forget the other guy, the guy who actually won the case. The guy who, Shapiro. Shapiro. He formed the LegalZoom.com.
Yeah,
He's
he
making
did, yeah.
And the other little lawyer that was the DNA, I forget his name, the DNA expert. He actually won the case. The DNA expert actually won the case because nobody knew what the hell DNA was, and the way that
I thought it was initials for some other accomplice.
Well, the way that the California police handled that, traipsing and tromping through the murder scene. Hey, check this out! Come on, and they had dogs running through. I mean,
look at this.
Look at this. You know, I mean, and then you got Cato. Caitlin was on Duck Soup
Cato,
for a while.
Caitlin.
You know, I mean, think of this. You can't even put together a cast of characters like we had with that.
You're right.
And then I just found out this morning that F. Lee Bailey, the last big name, the big defense attorney that was brought on, this was a guy. He's broke. He right now he's broke. He doesn't even have his law firm, or there's something with his law firm. He's in a little teeny one-room office, and he lost all his clients. I mean, and OJ is free now. Well, October 1st he'll be free. So I don't know, man. You can't make it up. You can't make it up.
No, that was over 20 years ago, and it has been a lot of tears, a lot of pain, especially on the Golden family. And it was not to make too light of it. There were 2 lives that were lost, and to this day, supposedly we do not know who did it. But there's a lot of people that still believe that OJ did it. There's a lot of people that believe that there was some other close alliance of OJ's that did it. But who knows? We will not find out, and I'm sure people will be taking that to their graves.
Well, nonetheless, and then OJ, you mentioned the movies. Jeremy C is in the chat room, and he's going to Billy C. Bronco. Yeah, it's true. I'm telling you, he'll tell you that it was it looked just like OJ's. As a matter of fact, I found a pair of gloves in there. I don't know where they came from, but anyway, with him in the movie, The Naked Gun, the scene that I remember. Remember, he's in.
What's his name? Norbit.
I think you're right. But the scene where they shoot him a couple of times, he doesn't die. Then as he's trying to die, he leads his hands on the burning stove. And then there's a giant bear trap. He steps in that. He goes down. Then he's in a wheelchair because he survives it. And Leslie Nielsen ends up pushing him down the stadium, down all the steps in the stadium. Oh God, he was funny. But anyway, the juice is loose again as of October 1st. But anyway, got an update for Juan Manuel Marquez fans. Here's a guy that really, shouldn't have should have just stay retired. I mean, he kept trying to get a big fight. He wouldn't fight Manny Pacquiao again, which would have been a big payday for him and Manny. But he didn't want that fight. But he keeps trying to come back. They're trying to set up a fight for him. And it was announced yesterday that his return date has been postponed again. It was scheduled for August 19th, but apparently they lost the venue. So now they have to find another venue. And for some reason, unreported, he has not been able to continue training. So maybe he's feeling age. I mean, he's in his 40s now. He hasn't fought in 3 years. I don't know. Why doesn't he just hang him up? Juan Manuel Marquez has to have made enough money in the sport of boxing, Sal, to just call it a day. What do you think?
I don't know, Bill. These guys, when they get this kind of money, and we know it's not literally what I would call the face value. You fight for $1 million. It's not what you're going to put in your pocket and go home with. So who knows how he squandered any of what he netted out of those purses away. You just don't know. So if he's fighting for the money or for the passion, those are things that are hard to deny. And he is only 40. He hasn't fought in 3 years. That's like a rest for me. But I think hey, let's see what happens. Let's see if he gets back in shape and give him one shot to try and have a good defining moment and come back, and we'll see what happens.
I got a couple of comments on OJ in the chat room.
I bet you do. You got to watch out what kind of can of worms you open up here.
Dak says OJ did it. Jeremy says... I
know there's a lot of people that feel he did it.
Jeremy says, I give it a month and he'll be back in jail for something stupid. I don't know. I think that, he learned his lesson.
I think they should leave OJ alone and just...
well, if he does do something stupid, then, come on. But here's my theory. My theory, the glove didn't fit him, right? They didn't find...
No, but let me tell you something.
They didn't find... Wait, hold on.
I took a pair of gloves extra large that would normally fit me. I expanded my fist in my hand, and guess what? That thing couldn't get past my first knuckle.
Well, again, bad.
It was good acting on
Chris Darden. Hey, that was. They said that was the stupidest thing Chris Darden did in that case, where it lost when he because any other prosecution would have never let him try that on because that pretty much cinched it. But the truth of the matter is, Johnny Cochran. I love the Saturday Night Live. I love.
They did salesmanship. This was a case sold. I'm sorry to interrupt. You get me fired up because I remember how I was glued. That was right before my wedding, and now I don't want to go there. Forget about it. Go.
Well, listen. Johnny Cochran was a charismatic guy that really took it to another level. But I have a theory. I think I know who did it. I really do. I think I know who murdered those two poor people. And it wasn't one person, Sal. It was two people. It was two people. They worked together, and then they split and went in different directions in life. But I'll tell you who it was. You want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
It was Al Heyman and Obama. They did it. They're the ones. They're the ones that did it. They. It was not poor OJ. It was Obama and Al Heyman. They were the killers of Nicole Brown Simpson and Mr. Goldman. They just ask Cato. I think Cato, if he's really pressed, I think he'll admit it. What do you think?
I don't know. What was Cato's shtick? Was he a massage therapist, a yoga instructor, or what was his deal?
He was a pothead. He was a pot. He was nothing more than a pothead. I love it. He says, "Did you hear? Did you?" And they say in court, they go, "Well, what did you hear?" I heard a thumping noise. What kind of thumping? Well, it sounded like this. And he taps on the thing. Oh, is that what it said? Could you repeat that? Yeah, it sounded like this. It's like, is that what it sounded? Oh, that could have been someone jumping over. I don't know. It sounded like this. It's like, come on, man. Come on. I mean, that's when the original, come on, man. That's when that first started. I mean, geez.
You hit it on the head. This was America's floodgates opening up and a preview of what reality TV could do for entertainment. Because everybody was glued to the set. Everybody saw the trial unfold right before their eyes, and major networks did the update at night as far as what we might have missed during the 8 hours of courtroom during the day. So it was unbelievable. It was one of the biggest events, and believe me, that fired a lot of fuel under the whole idea, hey, we could start reality TV. And it's been reality TV since.
Well, you're right. You're right. But that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Al Heyman and Obama did it. But anyway. That's what Trump. That's what Donald Trump told me, anyway. But anyway, speaking of guys that don't want to hang him up, how about Arthur Abraham? He lost a pretty stinkfest of a fight against Chris Eubank Jr. Last weekend, and I just felt that, no disrespect to Eubank Jr. I just don't think he's that good of a fighter, and I think it proved to me that pushing 40-year-old Arthur Abraham is done. They asked his trainer, longtime trainer, what he thought, and Yuli Wagner said that Arthur just doesn't have the heart anymore, which is a powerful, powerful statement. Obviously, the interpretation means he doesn't have the desire, because no one can question the heart of Arthur Abraham. I mean, he proved that to us with the jaw hanging down to the canvas for most of a fight. But maybe he doesn't have the desire. But here's the thing. They are actually in discussions right now where he could actually get another shot at another world title, the WBA regular super middleweight title, which is being held right now by Tyrone Zouge, who's Arthur Abraham's stablemate. And the team has been offered that. team, Arthur Abraham, has been offered that fight, and they are contemplating it. My question is, Sal, after coming off a loss and looking as bad as he did and looking every bit of 38 years old, how can the WBA actually approve him to fight for a world title? I mean, even some of the worst sanctioning bodies require a fighter to come into a fight following a win, not coming off a loss. What's your thoughts?
Well, WBA, with Bob's approval, I don't know. I'll tell you what, I think, like I said, boxing has changed on the upper echelon with the deciding factors, and there's things that happen underneath the table and around the corner that we will never be privy to, but we'll only have the idea of what really goes on. So that's my thought. It's going to happen. Whatever powers may be, they can create and stimulate. Like I always said, the media stimulates the news. They don't report it, and that's what happens underneath the table when it comes to some of these deals and some of these things going on. How fights align and get made.
Yeah. No. Well. It is what it is. Got a couple of emails. First one's from Joel. He says, "Hey, Billy C, with a quiet weekend of boxing, I was thinking now's the time for you and Sal to do a new kind of a show. It's the Cooking with Billy C and Sal show. Feature it on YouTube. Do it once a week. You do a dish and Sal does a dish. And then you guys would compete and your fans would tune in. Nobody would ask, what do you think?" I don't know, man.
I think we should get him as the producer.
Yeah, I think Jeremy C. Jeremy C. would like us to do a cooking show. I mean,
think that'd be fun. Hey, you talk about it. We'll do an hour-long reality show. Your kitchen and my kitchen, double stream, side by side. Forget about it.
The thing is I make some good stuff, but not as many good things as you do. So I don't know, but. I don't know. Well, maybe we should get the cameras rolling next time we're together and cook some stuff.
Yeah, we could do that. We could go in the kitchen. Absolutely.
The kitchen gets hot. The kitchen gets hot.
I don't hear anything.
Got another email here. This one is from my man Johnston. He says, "Hey, Billy C and Sal, haven't sent an email for a while because I've been busy with my new arrival." That's right. If you guys recall, my man Johnston had his newborn baby, so I hope all is well there. He said, "I've been looking back on 2017 so far, and I must say that this has been the best year of boxing for a long time. Looking through my archives and spreadsheets of boxers and fights from years gone by, I think it's the best year since 1987. He says, "Check this out. In 1997, we saw the best fight. And he said in 1997 we saw the best fight the best, and here are some of the fights from that year." He said there were many more, but here are the top ones: Holyfield Tyson 2, De La Hoya Whitaker, Hamed Kelly, Calzaghe Eubank, Tony McCallum 3, Hopkins Johnson, Luis Galata, Zaragoza Morales, Junior Jones Barrera 2, and Jones Jr. Griffin 1 and 2. Those are some great fights, no question about that. He says, now compare these to 2017. DeGale Jack, Santa Cruz Frampton 2, Thurman Garcia, Joshua Klitschko, Triple G Jacobs, Brooks versus Spence Jr., Ward Kovalev 2, plus what's scheduled this year, Bruno Garcia, Canelo Triple G, Crawford Indigo, and assuming that it happens, Joshua Klitschko 2. He says, is there a more recent year you and Sal can think of? Also, if you look at the fighters from 1997 at that stage of their career against the 2017 crop, who would win? Joshua Lewis in 97. The Lewis in 97. Listen, I think Anthony Joshua, although I think, Lennox Lewis set the tone for the heavyweight division as we see it today, being a big guy that was athletic. I just think Joshua beats him. He says Triple G against Hopkins. Hopkins is such he was such a throwback fighter, but Triple G, I don't know. That's a tough one. Santa Cruz, Hamed. I don't know. All three of them are hard to pick, man.
Good. I think that was for Pally in that little box machine he's got.
The box machine. It's not the box machine. It's a software. It's the title about championship computer game.
I picture he has his box. He puts in information here, like a recipe. Information there. He commingles, shakes it up, and boom, pans it out. Here's what happened. No, sorry.
I don't know, man. I think that Johnston makes a great point. That but what I can't believe is 20 years. I mean, we had to wait 20 years, 2 decades before we have a bunch of top-notch fights like he just and listen, I think he's right on. I mean, I think that this year is right there with 97 with all those big fights. They were all big fighters fighting the right fights, the best versus the best at that time. But as far as these matchups, the dream matchups, Anthony Joshua against Lennox Lewis, Triple G against Hopkins, and Leo Santa Cruz against Prince Ahmed, I don't know. I don't know who I would pick. And those, I mean, right off the top, I say, because since Dax is in the chat room, and he's loves Lennox Lewis, I say, Anthony Joshua. But Triple G, Bernard Hopkins, I mean, at that time, I thought Bernard Hopkins actually got better as he got older because he learned some tricks, more tricks of the trade. A prime Triple G or this, and Santa Cruz. Prince Ahmed was so unbeatable till he faced Barrera. I mean, I don't know. You got any thoughts on that, brother?
No, I'll tell you what. I think those are just fantasy matches, like fantasy football, whatever else. I mean, we could think about those things. That would have been a great boxing matches right there. Everyone. That's what's beautiful about this whole game. Everyone will have their opinion about it, and seeing who can have beaten who. And that would have been great.
I got a couple of things. First, they're making fun of you. They're saying you in the chat room, Billy C's magic boxing box. You know, I mean, because you have no concept. And then on Facebook Live, we got guys. My man Sherman, who's coming down for the event, says, "Hey, if Martha Stewart and Snoop can do a cooking show, then Billy C and Sal can." Which is true. Can, Bill. Which is true. I mean, if Snoop Dogg can do it, then we certainly can. And he was probably just making pot brownies or some shit anyway. But anyway, funny stuff. But Sal has got the other Sal that's in the Facebook has got us back down to boxing talk. He says, if the fighters of today can barely go 12 rounds when all the years gone past, these guys went 15. Right. Speaking of Alex, he made that point the other day about how fighters. I mean, they call the championship rounds now 10, 11, 12. It used to be 12, 13. 13, 14, 15. And it's true. My man Sal on Facebook is hit it on the nose. I mean, these fighters today, they're winded. What bothers me the most? Watching a 4-round fighter winded before he reaches the 4th round. This is a young fighter. I mean, it's true. I mean, these guys are not prepared to go 12, let alone 15, Sal.
No, it's really bad on that level. And like I said, Bill, we should start our own league. And I'll tell you, go back to 15-round championship fights. We don't have any pre-signed contract of what fighter gets paid what. They fight for They fight for percentages. They fight for the larger purse. The winner gets a larger purse. The loser gets maybe 60% of what the larger purse is, or whatever else. I'm just telling you, they got to do weigh-ins the same day. I could think about a lot of things that if we should do that. We should start our own. We call it the WBS with Billy and Sal. No, maybe not. But we should. I'm telling you. Same day weigh-ins, 15-round championship fights, and that's it. I mean, that's where we gotta go.
Yeah, you know what the problem is? We won't.
And the purses. I want somebody. This is prize fighting. You gotta fight for the prize.
You're trying.
I don't want to hear this guy.
Sal, you're trying to convince an age of young people, young athletes that have been brought up with everybody's a winner, no one's a loser. We all get participation trophies. You're not allowed to be critical. You don't want to offend anybody. So you're addressing all these. Do you really think that any fighters will join this league? I mean, come on. You know, they want the easiest route. Fighters don't fight the best anymore. They don't strive. They don't look to prove that they're the best by seeking out the best. No, instead they follow the Mayweather path, the easiest fight for the most money. Can't blame them for that, but the end result is it is what it is. You really think you're going to get people to join?
I would love to see. I mean, think about that. If this fight coming up with Triple G, because that's a real fight, Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. What are they talking about? Purses? What are they guesstimating? What is the purse going to be about?
What are you talking?
25 million, 30. What are they talking about?
For what are you talking about?
What is the purse that these guys are going to get when they fight each other? Are they talking about that at all yet?
What guys?
Triple G and Canelo Alvarez.
I don't know what the purses are. They haven't really bragged about the purses like they do. But hey, listen, we're over our time again. Sal, would you stop with this crap? I got to take a short break.
I got a lot to say.
Well, you had your time, but now we got to do this.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C Show. Glad you could be with us. And speaking of being with us, don't forget, make your plans now. Come on down to St. Simon's Island on August 25th and 26th. Join me and Sal and former world champions Marlon Starling, Mike Weaver, Bobby Ches. They'll all be there. Trainer extraordinaire from Tampa, Sherman Henson, will be down there. We may sprinkle in some more people as well. We're going to have 3 days of, 2.5 days of some fun in the sun. So make your plans now. Visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the Sea Palms Resort. Give them a call. Tell them you want to hear about the Billy C Boxing Special Package deal, and they'll explain everything you get. It includes a meet and greet with some food. It includes the fight, of course. It includes a golf outing. It includes trucking over to Sal's and invading his restaurant and eating everything that we can. We'll be like the invasion of the Sal's restaurant, body snatcher type thing. We'll do all that stuff, so come on down. You get to hang out with us, and I'll show you how much scotch I can drink. Joining us right now is, what's his name? He's from the website. What's his name again? Oh, yeah, Dax Khan. What's up, Dax?
Where?
Yeah, no, don't dare. He's a
There's
a werewolf. Werewolf.
You talk about come on down. I was watching. They have the new Family Feuds out, the Celebrity Family Feuds. You remember Aaron Martinez?
Yeah.
The baseball pitcher. They have one of the questions. They have baseball Hall of Famers against National League Hall of Famers, whichever it was. And one of the questions against Football Hall of Famers, rather. And one of the questions was name a word that rhymes with tummy. And, people are going, or yummy, rather. People are going tummy and, little common things like that. They get down to Aaron Martinez and he says, my hummy.
You better stick to your day boxing job. You and Sal, what are you exchanging comedy routines or what?
Harvey goes, what are you talking about, my hammy? He goes, oh, yeah, rhymes with yummy.
Oh, boy.
Thank
God for baseball.
That's why he's running that show, But anyway, your thoughts of our idea today, our main topic, should Deontay Wilder get past Ortiz, which I personally don't think he will, Dax, but should he do, for argument's sake, and should AJ get by Klitschko a second time, which I do think he will, and they fight each other, first of all, will they fight each other in 2018? And if so, who wins the fight?
Well, first of all, they have to get rid of this business with Berman Stavern. And, that's which I think Wilder, should that fight happen, and Stavern more than likely is going to exercise his right and he's going to win that case in court. And then should he fight Luis Ortiz? I think that's a big money fight for both. It's probably the best opponent that either guy has faced. And then after that, what should Deontay Wilder do? You have no other. There's no place to go but to fight either Anthony Joshua or the winner of Huey Fury and Joseph Parker, because now it's running out. The heavyweight talent pool is running low, and there's no big fights unless he wants to be an Adonis Stevenson and just sit on PBC, which may not be around in 2018, and just fight whoever's willing for that little small collection of fans that are willing to accept mediocrity or below.
Yeah, well, do you have an early prediction if they did get in the ring with each other?
I think if Deontay Wilder came out and started fast, I believe he'd be able to build up a points decision quickly, and then he'd actually score a mid-round stoppage. Luis Ortiz is a slow fighter, but I also believe that if Deontay Wilder does, as he always seems to do in fights of, with his last 5-6 fights, he wants to play to the crowd a little bit, and he wants to go back against the ropes. The very first time Luis Ortiz unleashes a combination, he's going to knock Deontay Wilder out. There are very few, but what I was stating is he's built a lot like Tommy Hearns, even in a very big heavyweight division. He's tall, but he's also very lanky, and despite that one-punch power, he has those thin legs, and he's not really built for absorbing punishment. And Luis Ortiz, with that very thick neck of his, is built for not only absorbing punishment, but dishing punishment out. But then a fight that's very trying for a long time, and you're going to be 39 years old, how much of punishment can you absorb back yourself? So it's a 50-50 fight if it should happen, in my opinion.
Well, I was actually referring to, I think Ortiz is going to win that fight, but I was referring to assuming that Deontay beats Ortiz, and AJ and Wilder get in the same ring together sometime in December, which sometime in 2018, which I would hope they did. Who do you think would win that fight? That was my question.
I would favor Anthony Joshua. First of all, Deontay Wilder would have to go outside of his comfort zone. Contrary to what fans believe, and I have this has been discussion a lot lately, which side of the pond is actually the bigger side. And Anthony Joshua is the A side. It doesn't matter if you have Al Heyman behind you, you have Floyd Mayweather behind you, you have the whole state of Alabama behind you. Anthony Joshua is definitely the A side, and that's where the money is. So Deontay Wilder was sort of being that Roy Jones position that Roy Jones was in before he became a pound-for-pound star when he had to go across the pond to fight Joe Calzaghe, and he never did. And so he stayed over here, and he never became that big draw. He had a successful career. He was very talented. Not that Deontay Wilder is of that caliber, but Roy Jones' career suffered because he never went over there. And even if he would have took a loss, I think he would have been much more successful financially. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. He would have to go over there if he wanted to reach that next level, win or lose. And going over there, out of that comfort zone, Deontay Wilder would be in a situation he has never faced before in a hostile crowd. Anthony Joshua would be relaxed. Anthony Joshua would come right after Deontay Wilder. There would be no time to warm up. And so I don't see it being very competitive unless Deontay Wilder was able to get a quick start like he did with Vladimir Klitschko did with Anthony Joshua and get that knockdown and stop him. That would be his only, in my opinion, that would be his only chance. And that would be a quick stoppage. But then again, Anthony Joshua would be waiting for that. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens with that.
Either way, it's got to be cleared up because, we have to have a definitive. If that division is ever going to reclaim its glory days, Sal, if that division is ever going to do that, we need to have one champion, one lineal champion with all those titles, and then everybody else would be able to be in that top 10, and they would all thrive instead of that division being so scattered out where people have lost interest totally in it because there's really not one guy, all those champions are talented, but there's not enough talented top 10 contenders to give these guys a fight that makes boxing fans interested in watching any of them on a regular basis.
Well, we're talking heavyweights, right?
Right, in the heavyweight division. All those champions are talented, but none are overly talented, and none of the guys under them, those top 10 contenders, are good enough to sit there to make any of those three champions that we have interesting, give them a fight that's interesting enough to keep fans, wanting to see them again and again. Fans are tired of these one-sided showcase fights. And who does Anthony Joshua really fight after Vladimir Klitschko next? He can fight the winner of Huey Fury and Joseph Parker, but after that, really, who does Anthony Joshua have? He's more or less going to be in the same situation as Deontay Wilder, but the difference being is over there, Anthony Joshua was going to sell, and Anthony Joshua was appreciated, unlike over here, where Deontay Wilder's audience will be truly limited just to that PBC crowd. So with Deontay Wilder, either he fights Anthony Joshua and risks that win-or-loss, or Deontay Wilder is going to be, yesterday's news before he really makes that front page other than a PBC card.
Here's the thing. Deontay Wilder hasn't fought anybody. He's been carefully protected and everything. But here's the problem with the division. First of all, the division itself, the pool of heavyweights are small because there's other opportunities for guys that are that big and athletic to pick. They pick other sports, and they pick those sports early on. We all have talked about muscle memory and the fact that, the best fighters have started their boxing careers at an early age, just like the best football players and baseball players, etc. The problem that we have when you add that into the mix is the division of sanctioning bodies. So a guy that's ranked in the top 10 in one division, one sanctioning body, who's not ranked in the top 10 of another, what we end up having, let's just take the four top sanctioning bodies and their top 10 guys, their top 10 guys in each sanctioning body, you have a diluted group of fighters. So we're not really getting a true representation of a number 10 ranked guy. So, at the end of the day, in order to maintain that title, you have to fight the mandatories, et cetera, et cetera. So we get, force-fed these subpar matchups. But at the end of the day, the fighters are the ones that truly have the last word. And in this case, Deontay Wilder, who's been pounding his chest saying he's the best heavyweight on the planet and has yet to step in with anybody good, really, needs to say, hey, I don't care. I want to prove that I'm the best. I want to fight the best heavyweight out there. And the best heavyweight out there right now is Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua did fight and beat the guy who we all thought was the best heavyweight out there in Vladimir Klitschko. You can't deny, regardless of the fact that he was, he's been around for a while, he dominated the division for a decade, and Anthony Joshua beat him. It's the same argument people have for Larry Holmes. He came up during a time when he fought and beat all of the aging fighters, but it wasn't his fault. There were no other fighters there for him to fight. Mike through a similar situation. So it is what it is. All we can do is who are available.
Well, I disagree with you slightly where you're saying, the fighters have the opportunity. Because it's such a weak division, none of these fighters actually have that power to pick and choose who they want to fight. Again, that's the importance of a lineal the importance of having a lineal champion, because the division itself is not that bad. But if you had one champion, then a lot of these other fights would be made. You would have, let's just say Anthony Joshua, for argument's sake, was the lineal champion. Then you would have a Deontay Wilder, you would have a Joseph Parker, you would have a Huey Fury, you would have an Adam Kunaki, you would have an Andy Ruiz, and then these guys would all face each other so they can get that shot at Anthony Joshua. And something, all these guys against each other would be very good fights, but something, they would have to be forced to fight each other because only one guy had that title. Vladimir Klitschko, actually, he was so good. There's an article I wrote back when he first claimed all those titles after the Lehman-Brewster rematch, that Vladimir Klitschko is too good for his own good. And what's going to happen is this division is going to become stale and decline. And that's exactly what happened. Guys would rather have not fought Vladimir Klitschko and be able to make an easier payday than have to go to Germany and become a Vladimir Klitschko type showcase opponent, because he was that good. It was only in the 90s the last time that this division actually flourished, because we had a Lennox Lewis, we had an Evander Holyfield, we had a Tommy Morrison, and even, the guys step below were a Ray Mercer, a David Tua, and so on. And, we have that right now in this division, but the division's not going to be able to reclaim that unless we get one champion and then the rest of these guys fighting to get with that champion. If not, then what we have is, as you stated, we have a bunch of different champions against C-level opposition, and that's not enough to feed the fans and make this division thrive again, and that's the problem with so many titles.
True. What do you think, Sal?
I think he's got a good point there, 100%. And like I said, there's been too many champions, too many titles, too many people that want to try to dilute it, and we've got to have some type of unification, some type of rise to the level of superiority in these divisions, where we do have just the handful that can be recognized, and then have some type of tournament and just have one champion per weight class.
It's not going to happen. It sounds great.
I know it's not.
Yeah,
I know it's not. There's too many sanctioning bodies, too much money involved, and too many things going on, and like I said, who suffers is the fans, really. But it is what it is.
It's the O. The O is what sells. You know what? Why would you go and take a chance at facing a guy and getting knocked out for a $2 million payday when you can sit there and fight four guys for a $1.5 million payday and more than likely, not risk yourself getting injured and have yourself a showcase fight? And that's the problem with the sport, and that's the difference. But you know what? If you went over someplace and you risk losing that, you can actually have yourself a mega fight. You can increase your popularity. You can increase your worth over across the whole globe. For example, a reason like a guy like an Arturo Gatti was so popular, or a Mickey Ward was so popular, because you know what, they were out there despite all those O's, despite the losses and the beatings, they became beloved into the fans' hearts, and that's exactly what we need to see more of throughout the whole sport, instead of just being happy to settle for this easy money and an easy payday. And that and you're referring to Arthur Abraham, where he doesn't have that desire anymore because he's aged. I don't think anybody really has that desire anymore inside of the sport. We don't see it. Nobody really has that desire because everybody wants to make that big money, and it's the easy money.
True. It's true, right? What do you think, Sal?
Yeah, I think he's got a good point, very good point with Dax, and it's just a shame because there's enough talent out there. There's enough, and like I said, when they're trying to protect that it is just that they're protecting it. We haven't seen the best yet, because I really believe on some level, you will see a fighter unleashed if they have a no that's no longer there. It's like now they got over that hurdle. They have a loss in their column, and you may see a different fighter. You may see a hungry fighter. He's not trying to protect that O because it's not existent anymore. And now he's a fighter, dangerous and unleashed, and he's not afraid to lose because, when you're afraid to lose, you're afraid to win. Meaning you're afraid to have your best talent released. I mean, I'll go to my buddy Bobby Ches. Bobby Ches was the matinee idol, the darling. But Bobby, his level of performance and his level of opposition when he had his first loss against Mustafa Hamsho. I'll tell you what, after that fight, Bobby was unleashed. He was relentless, and he fought anybody and everybody, and he fought like a champion. He was a champion. And that's a good point. Sometimes these O's, because the fighter himself is like, well, I got to protect my O, and boom. And it's the fight or flight syndrome. You either fight after you get that O gone, or you fly away. You become a wallflower. Not really.
It's not only the fighters though. It's more the management, the management, whether it's a manager or a promoter, the networks. They feel they can't sell because the audience has changed. A lot of the blame has to be on the fans, the audience. The number one, they accept the BS. Number two, they've been brainwashed to think that having an undefeated record equals being good. I use the same analogy over and over and over. If a football team, the best football team, plays the worst football team for 16 weeks, are they truly the best team? And they go undefeated. Are they truly the best team? If a high school baseball team fights a Pop Warner team or a Little League team and wins every single game and goes undefeated, are they really that good? You got to challenge yourself. And only the best fighters in boxing, learn from a loss and get better. I mean, it is what it is.
Bingo, you're 100% right. Bill, 100% right. I mean, you look at the mindset, the mentality. Look at the old days. I mean, when supposedly Jake LaMotta had that idea with Billy Fox, and Billy Fox won that fight, and all of a sudden, there was a quote from the movie from let's see, Jake LaMotta's brother saying, "Hey, if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. Either way, you can't lose. It's a win." So and what he was saying was the fact that if you lose to this guy, everyone's going to think you're not infallible anymore, and you could be beat, and they're going to come out of the woodwork and try to fight you. You're still going to win. So like hypothetically, the O is so much for that marketing purpose and for the allure of, wow, this guy's undefeated. Nobody's been able to throw him or beat him. But the truth of the matter is, unless they do fight that top opposition and they dig down, they call for their best to perform, they'll never know how good they really are.
Well, unfortunately, the way the market works, they're afraid to try. And for years, promoters don't promote, fighters don't fight. I mean, a guy like Floyd would basically a circus act and have everybody all, gung-ho about it. When everyone really knows that it's not going to be a challenging fight. I mean, credit to them. I mean, I think it shows more of the audience than it does of the promotional abilities. I don't know. I think it's a tough one to answer.
This is how easily. So just back to the O thing and Roy Jones, and I love Roy Jones, and he's an all-time great and one of the greatest of all time. And this isn't a knock on him, but once his career had declined, and after he was knocked out by Antonio Tarver and that really brutal knockout at the hands of Glenn Johnson, he wanted to fight the winner of Joe Calzaghe and Bernard Hopkins. And he was asked at the announce table, well, why didn't you go across and fight Joe Calzaghe when he wanted to fight you when you guys were both super middleweight champions? Again, Joe Calzaghe was the A side, but something? Roy Jones Jr. was the undefeated champion over here in the United States, and he had some drawing power, but he was never the draw that Joe Calzaghe was over there. Roy Jones, in a moment of honesty, said, I had too much to lose. So that shows, how long that this this thing on that valuable O has been being built on. If he would have went over there and he would have risked that fight with Joe Calzaghe, who I believe at that point in time in his career at super middleweight, Roy Jones was virtually unbeatable. He would have won that fight against Joe Calzaghe, but he chose not to challenge himself. When you speak about how fights are sold and how the fans easily buy into things, still this Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor thing is going. People don't stop talking about it, whether or not they're criticizing it or they're for it. These still photos of Conor McGregor with his hands behind his back sparring Paulie Malignaggi, not footage, just a still shot. People are talking about and they're speculating on how good his hand skills are, and that's how easily sold they are. The Canelo versus Triple G fight. You spoke about that a few times this week as topics. People are still talking about it, but they're not having that excitement. And in my opinion, and in the actual truth, the best card this year, period, hands down, if you go talent-wise, and if people that really follow boxing, is that Superfly card. And the average person doesn't know, what's really going on with that. But you have, just the stats on there, 199-5 with 149 knockouts and 43 combined world title fights. And that's what you have on there. But you know something? People would pay the $100 and something for the Mayweather-McGregor fight, but you know what? Because these guys aren't out there doing a circus, it's virtually going, ignored. Somebody sent you an email earlier talking about, what year was that? They said the last time that there was quality fights?
1997, and I agree. I mean, he gave us the data for that. 20 years.
Right. Johnson, yeah, very good point.
But 2012, you had Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao 4. You had one of the most exciting fights in probably 20 years, Brandon Rios and Mike Alvarado. You had Nonino Donaire. You had Carl Froch and Lucien Butte, which was a huge fight. You had the Brian Vasquez and Takashi Uchiyama fight. You had Danny Garcia and you had Amir Khan. There was if I could think of more, if I had time, I could think of more. But that was a monumental year. But again, that also shows too exactly where today's fans' mindset is. They're only focusing on one area when boxing used to be universal. And if you look at it in a universal fashion, boxing thrives everywhere, except now it's kind of become like that old style professional wrestling type thing where people just concentrate on their venues and their regions instead of on the sport as a whole. And that's why guys like a Wilder or somebody else are able to, or a guy like Adonis Stevenson is able to sit on these titles and fight these lower level opponents because they're catering to this crowd just in that one area, and they're happy taking that smaller check as long as they're able to keep drawing these fans in and actually go out there and test themselves, win, lose, or draw.
Dax, good point. I got one last question and we got to go. Juan Manuel Marquez is still trying to make a comeback. He's been trying for, I'm pretty sure it's over 3 years now. And it was just announced yesterday that, his fight that he was supposed to return in August 19th is now postponed due to a venue swap. And then it was also reported that his workouts have been hindered for undisclosed reason. And I'm thinking, an injury, because that's sort of what's been slowing him down. My question is why bother? I mean, this is a guy that's a Hall of Famer. He's got nothing left to prove. There's no reason for him to fight. If he wanted to cash out one more big check fight, he could have fought Manny Pacquiao. Both fighters are on the downward slide of their careers. He refused to fight Manny. He was looking for another fight. Rumor had it that it was going to be against Cotto. Cotto picked another opponent. I mean, I don't get it. What's the point?
Some guy, I don't believe that he's hurting for money. He's a very smart man. He's educated. And, I don't believe he's hurting for money. Sal, I'll present this question to Sal, and then, you guys can take it from here. I've known a lot of fighters over the years that, Bill, just like you do. And, you talk to a lot of them after they retire, and all of a sudden, it's no longer are they talking as a fighter in their career. They're talking to you on a one-on-one basis when you become friends with them. Gabriel Ruelas, he was the one guy that really put that into perspective when I spoke to him about how come these guys seem to continue on and on when they don't need to. Of course, some guys do it for money, and then you get a guy like a Marquez or a guy like Roy Jones who doesn't need to fight on for the money, but, that when you retire, you miss that crowd. You miss, what comes around being a fighter. And what he told me was, he says, Dax, what I miss the most is when I would come out there and they would play my entrance music, and that rush that I would get over me, I would get goosebumps, and the way my body would feel, and when I would walk out that curtain and people would be screaming and yelling, cheering my name. He goes, there's nothing like that. And even after you retire, you sit there sometimes and you lay in bed at night and you think about those moments. And he goes, I've never used drugs in my life, but if I was anybody who ever used drugs, that's the only way I can compare it. It has to be that same type of rush that a drug addict gets, because you just want to keep getting that and you want it to happen. You never want it to go away. So I believe, that's something that a lot of fighters deal with. And honestly, even though I've never been put into that situation, I can truly understand if that was me and I was being, cheered and screamed, and you go into an arena with thousands and thousands of people. That's something that's very hard to walk away from.
No doubt, and they have, and Sal knows that, but no doubt, and my thought, and I got to take a break, but my thought, real quick, and Sal, when we come back from break, you can give yours, because I know.
Oh, I will.
I know, but the point is that this is where boxing needs these guys, Dax. Boxing needs the fighters that retire to stay in the sport. Either become a trainer, become a promoter, become a manager. I say this all the time. Boxing is the only sport that has non-boxing people running it. And this is what has been the problem with the sport. I'm back and forth with a guy in Facebook right now, my man Ruben Williams. He's a pro fighter. I know his manager. He's had
Hollywood Ruben.
But he's had a career up and down. He was mismanaged early in his career, and this was a guy that fought anybody that they put in front of him. I get it. I know about his career. But this is a guy that should be involved in the sport today. A guy that should be training somebody. A guy that should be involved in the sport. We need boxing people involved in the sport of boxing. And to get that juice, to get that feeling, to be involved, to get that adrenaline rush that you mentioned, fighters can still get it if they take the other side and take their bodies, which can't take it anymore, and take them out of harm's way and contribute to the sport in another way. I've been telling Sal to become a trainer and a promoter for friggin' 6 years now.
I would do it. I know I could create a world champion. I could help. And they got to have the talent, the ability, the heart, and desire. But boy, I'll tell you, I would love that challenge to do that. I feel in my heart of hearts. What I know is like Mickey. I got all this knowledge up here, kid. Well, it takes a lifetime and a career to really understand the physics, the mindset, and everything else that needs to be part of that. Those ingredients to create the best fighter you can.
Well,
it would help.
And you're right. And Sal, we need that in the sport. We need boxing people to be running the sport. No, I didn't hear you because I was too busy ranting. I'll say it again. We need boxing people to run the sport of boxing.
Good rant. You're right. 100% right. And that's why, and I say this, and I hate to be redundant, but, when I was shown something by all these great trainers that I had the opportunity to work with, and I would thank them, and they would say, Sal, just do me a favor. Show it to another fighter one day. Because they knew, they had the mindset, they knew that what they were trying to elongate and trying to continue, and a propensity to continue on a path of greatness, of showing things that were necessary to be passed down from great fighters to great fighters. And that's the translation that was lost.
Exactly.
Because fighters are not always involved with the game anymore.
Well, that's exactly what has been hurting us. But, Dax, I appreciate your time, my man, and we'll look forward to you next week, brother.
All right, everybody, enjoy your weekend.
Take it easy.
Yeah, buddy.
That's Dax Khan giving us his thoughts and stuff. And for all the TV affiliates and radio stations, we're not going to take a break here because Sal wouldn't shut up and we weren't able to take a break. So we're going to keep going. But, Sal, it's true, man. That's what this sport needs. It needs people that are involved in boxing, that were fighters, to get involved. I mean, years ago, we've said this a million times. Years ago, the way it worked was simple. A kid would walk into a gym. He would become next thing you know, he'd be carrying a spit bucket, doing something, gets into it. Next thing you know, he's fighting, he's training, he becomes an amateur. He realizes he likes the sport, and then he turns pro. Whether he becomes a contender or even a world champion or whatever is neither here nor there. But after his career is over, he returns to the gym. He teaches what he learned to other kids. Or maybe he becomes a manager or a promoter or something. He understands the sport. Today, all it takes to be in the boxing business is a checkbook with some money in your bank account. And that's bullshit. And the worst thing about it is that I could be, and I've been involved in this business for 35 years, all right? I've been a manager, I've been a promoter, all these things. But the one thing I never was I was never a trainer. And I've never claimed to be a trainer, and I've never claimed to be able to teach anybody anything, all right? I know how to do things. I know how to throw a hook. I can teach, see what a fighter's doing right or wrong, but I've never been a trainer. But I will tell you this, Sal, the sad truth is I could go to a commission and pay $25 and get a seconds license and be the head trainer for a professional fight with no training experience. I've gotten into this conversation with Larry Housen many, many times. There should be a strict guideline so that we have to make trainers go through some kind of education process so that we know that we have real trainers that are teaching fighters, not just guys being rah-rah men. And that's all what I'm saying. We need boxing people in boxing, not people that just want the juice and think they know what they're talking about.
Well, you're right. You're 100% right. And I look at the fighters from my era and the greatness and the Bobby Chez's, the Vinny Pazienzas. I mean, these were my friends, my guys in training camp. And these guys, I mean, the fire, the intensity, the passion, we, wanted to rise to the occasion. I mean, look at Bobby. He challenged Marvin Hagler, Vander Holyfield, and whatever it was. He knew he was going to be in for a war fight, and he was going to do his best. He had a heart of a lion. Same thing with Vinny Pazienza. They didn't duck. They didn't hide. They didn't fight. Now, you imagine these guys in the gym showing. Now, you got to have an individual that has that angst, that fire, that incentive, that passion, that he's gonna, you can hit him with a brick, he's gonna keep coming. But the whole idea today is safety first and everything else. I mean, it's just a different mindset. It's a different era of fighters. It's as you said, today is the generation of the everyone gets a trophy kind of thing. And other than going out there and being a warrior, and you still have those fighters out there, but they're not the fighters that are going to stay in the game necessarily all the time. But that's what's lost, Bill. That's what's lost because like I said, where's the fighters from my generations? Are they in the game today? Well, Floyd Mayweather's father, yes, and all that other stuff. That's all great. But that's what this fight game needs today. Are the warriors, the fighters that proved it in the ring, that need to stay in the ring and need to duplicate themselves into other fighters.
It's not just fighters, and you alluded to it.
No.
It's everybody gets a participation trophy. I mean, that's what's happened with the young people today. And I don't mean to sound like my father and my grandfather. This young whippersnapper, but the truth of the matter is we've become a society of you don't want to try to offend anybody. You don't want to do this. You want to do, and it's actually been counterproductive. If you can't fool around with some guys and say this or say that without the fear of someone taking it wrong, or someone taking a statement you say that's a harmless statement and turning it into something that is being accepted or being viewed as being said wrong. Everybody's so afraid to say something that might hurt someone's feelings or this and that. I no disrespect to all the kids today, and I certainly don't promote bullying. But you know what?
No.
When I was a kid, there was bullying going on. You had to physically fight somebody or whatever, and I'm not saying it was right, but everybody got past it and it succeeded. Today, these kids are so fragile that if somebody picks on them on the internet or in a Twitter or something like that, they go home and kill themselves. How sad has it become when we can't even, where youth today can't even take criticism and then they go home and do something as drastic as taking their own life. I mean, it's a serious problem. And then it goes further, because these are the same individuals, and this isn't just happening today. It's been going on for a decade. These are the same individuals that go into the workforce, and then you look at the workforce today, nobody wants to work. Everybody, when people quit now, they just don't show up. They don't even give a notice. I mean, it's sad, and it's all related to this fear of competition. You know, I used to, when my kids, and they're older now, but when my kids were in, baseball and whatever, I was active. I was involved with them. And, when they tried to say, everybody at this level, everybody gets a trophy, I used to say, really? Ask any kid that's on this field what the score is. They'll tell you what the score is. They know what's going on. It's the parents that don't want to put their kids. A lot of the blame for what's going on today is the parents' fault. My generation is at fault for trying to name everything. You have a kid that's struggling in school. Well, let's call it something. Let's call it this. Boom. Next thing you know, it has a label on it. We've named everything. The parents in my generation, they don't want to handle raising Johnny, so they bring Johnny to the doctor and make Johnny seem like Johnny's got a problem, so give Johnny the medication. Yeah, give him the medication. Now Johnny's got the medication, and now he's 30 years old and he can't interact with people. He can't do this, he can't do that. Now all of a sudden, after 20 years, they realize, guess what? That medication's no good. I mean, come on. We got to live life. You can't. We're down the wrong path, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Really, 100%. I mean, you and I grew up in an era where, guess what? Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never harm me. I mean, that was it, basically. And if someone threw a stick at us, we were going to come back with rocks. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. It was a different era, different generation, different parenting, and we had to stand up. We had to stand up for what we felt was right, and we fought for it. And that was just a different era, different generation. Sticks and stones now still break bones, but names also break more than bones.
Exactly.
They break spirits. They break spirits. They break tested, tempered will of people. It's a shame. It's a softness. It's a shame.
No, it's true. It's true, and that is one of the biggest problems with the world today. We've become soft, and the sport of boxing has become soft. Floyd Mayweather is very successful. Probably, when it's all said and done, will be regarded as one of the most successful fighters in the history of the sport in terms of money making. He's almost made $1 billion in the ring. It's unheard of. $700 million. And here's the thing. Whether he maintains that wealth or not, that's yet to be seen. But it doesn't matter. The success that he's made, everybody wants to copy. So they copy everything that he did. And like I've said, there was only one Floyd. Floyd was successful at doing it. You can't assume that Joe Schmo fighter can do like Floyd did. It's the same thing. Michael Jordan, in my opinion, was the best basketball player ever to lace on a pair of sneakers. Now, we've gotten some other great ones since him. I mean, of course, LeBron James and some of these other basketball players are just as good. Kevin Durant, et cetera, and Steph Curry. I mean, we could go on and on. But the truth of the matter is there was only one Michael Jordan. There's only one LeBron James, etc. There's only one Floyd. But Floyd's success was so extraordinary that safety first, that cherry picking mentality that worked for Floyd, the smart picking the opponents at the right time, worked for Floyd. Now everybody copies, and the end result is a watered down sport that we're not seeing the best fight the best until it's too late. Now this year, as Johnston pointed out, has been a very successful year, and maybe the tide is turning. As a matter of fact, I got a text from somebody the other day saying, hey, ever since Floyd Mayweather retired, the attitude in boxing has changed, and it has. You've seen some of these fighters looking for the big fights. Keith Thurman is one of them. Errol Spence is another. Kell Brook has proved time and time again he is. Even Canelo Alvarez has finally stepped up to fight Triple G. Deontay Wilder, if he finally steps up and really does fight Luis Ortiz, got to give him credit. I mean, listen, I'm critical of his path to this point, but it's easy to change. From this day forward, you can change it, right?
That's right. It says tomorrow is the first, or today. One of the days is the first day of your life.
Yeah, you can't change the past, but you
no,
can certainly.
You can't. But today is the first day of your life.
Right.
Your life.
Today, you can change your life regardless of where you are, who you are, where you're from, what your past has been, good or bad. But you can change your life simple from this day forward. That's it. On this day in boxing history, July 21st in 1985, Ubaldo Sacco knocks out Gene Hatcher in the 9th round to win the WBA World Junior Welterweight title. It took place in Switzerland. On this day in 2007, Gavin Rees wins a 12-round decision over Selimane Mabay, I can never pronounce this poor guy's name, to win the WBA World Junior Welterweight title. Took place in Wales. On this day in 2007, Jorge Linares knocks out Oscar Larios in the 10th round to win the vacant WBC featherweight title in Las Vegas. That fight seems like it took place yesterday. It's been 10 years ago. On this day in 1927, you're going to love this. Jack Dempsey knocks out Jack Sharkey in the 7th round in a heavyweight elimination bout to improve to 54 wins, 5 losses, and 9 draws. The fight took place at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. On this day in 1941, the best ever, Sugar Ray Robinson wins a 10-round decision over Sammy Angot to improve to 21-0 in their lightweight fight that took place in Philadelphia. Sugar Ray Robinson is known really for middleweight. He was one of the best, obviously one of the best middleweights of all time, was one of the best welterweights of all time, undefeated as a welterweight. And a lot of people don't even remember that he used to fight lightweight as well. He went from lightweight to welterweight and fought in this fight against Sammy Angot to prove that. And finally on this day, July 21st in 1989, Mike Tyson knocks out Carl the Truth Williams at 1 minute and 33 seconds of the very first round to retain his world heavyweight title, along with the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And they call the world title the ring belt. That's why it's defined like that. But anyway, that concludes our show for today. We are going to have a shortened week next week, and unfortunately the week after, it doesn't look like we're going to be doing many shows because I got summoned to be a juror, and they've threatened me with imprisonment and a $1,500 fine because of all the times I've deked out on being a juror. So hopefully I can get dismissed real quick and be back. But unfortunately, it's up in the air. So we will tell you this. Make sure you tune in Monday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.